The last one, Venture Lounge, Batch 6, B2B and B2C startups.
Okay. So hello and welcome to the Venture Lounge session at Emerge. And this time we're going to have 6 more startups who are going to bring their pitch for our brilliant panel of investors. And in the next 1 hour and a half, we're going to have showcase, not in a format of competition, but more in a format of friendly discussion, feedback, and sharing from our investors panel. So as today, I'm delighted to introduce our investors panel. And I'm happy to start with Halil Hefov, investor, Target Global, Kamil Miechakovsky, Senior Associate, Notion Capital, UK, Gentian Kuchica, Vestin Analyst, APX, Germany, Ihor Volodin, Senior Associate, Mayfair Equity Partners, UK, AJ, you'll fix me then next time, Ramachandran, founding partner, Happiness Ventures, Daniel Hastik, partner, Next Tech Ventures, Czech Republic, Mario Magela, founding partner, V-Sharp Ventures, Czech Republic, and Dan Lupu, partner, Early Bird from Romania. Thank you for being with us, and we're ready to start with our first startup, Paycon, the hardware and software solution to automate picking. So guys, please to be next up on the stage.
Hello, we're Paycon, and we help retailers pick more orders with fewer employees. Just a second. So what happened with e-commerce in 2020? Well, it's out there, and now it's difficult for anyone to ignore it. You know, back in 2011, I was working in a media company, and we were in the business of building TV channels and managing TV channels. And back then, we all heard about online videos, but we were very safe to ignore them. And I'll tell you even more, when we were purchasing TV rights from major studios such as Universal or Sony, they would sell us very expensive TV rights and we'll just throw in online rights for free or almost for free. That is a true story. But fast forward 10 years from then, now we have, online video is a major battlefield. All big players are there. And they have Oscars exclusive online content. And I'm sure that no one in their sane mind would throw in online exclusive rights for free today. So e-commerce does not have this privilege. What happened in 2020 with COVID is that it grew almost to 10% and will stop growing and will not stop growing. So e-commerce and retailers have to figure out what they do with e-commerce right now. And we know all of that not from reading newspapers, but actually being on the front lines. Back in March 2020, we were working with a large retail company in Russia. They were our clients, and we were deploying our solution for smart checkout with them when the lockdown happened. And what we realized, they don't have any shoppers to check out anywhere in store. What they have is a lot of store associates picking online orders. And we pivoted. And here on the picture, you can see our actual solution being employed in one of their dark stores. And if you look to the left, you'll see that it's a one-piece hardware device that is easily fixable on any existing shopping cart. And it's powered by our proprietary software solution. And what the software does, it builds the best navigation route for store associates and keeps track of all picked items. We have already installed 750 carts in Moscow, and we have an order for at least 500 more. So the business model, we sell, so our revenue comes from two sources. First, hardware, but we sell hardware almost at no cost, so at a very low margin, and we plan to lease it in the future. And our main recurring revenue comes from software, and we charge per device, per month, or retailers can also pay annually. And our main assumption is that each store needs at least 20 devices, and that's how we calculate the market size for our recurring revenue. So we take that there are 4 million grocery stores in the world, and each store needs at least 20 devices. Then there are top retailers who are already thinking about operation scalability, and then we take about 8-10% of them who are actually doing delivery themselves at the moment, and we arrive at this figure of $1 billion of our market. And if we capture 10% of that, our revenue is going to be $100 million. These are our plans. So a bit about our traction so far. So we launched in 2020, and our revenue for the year was $236,000. We already surpassed that revenue in 2021. And here to the right, you can see our graph with our plans for recurring revenue based on the devices that we have either already installed or plan to sell in the nearest future. So we have the market, we have the solution, we have the problem, and we also have a great team tackling the problem. So Igor is the CEO. He has experience working in retail, and he's also a serial entrepreneur. He already built 2 businesses, one of which he successfully sold. We have a very impressive team of technical founders, so CTO and CIO. They have experience working both with hardware and software, and they also have experience working together. So they won the World Concurrent Programming Championship in China in 2016. Me, myself, I'm in charge of business development. I have a background in corporate and also been in entrepreneurship for the past few years. So we have a product market fit, and we're looking to expand from there now, and we're going to raise money to do that. So if you're interested, I didn't have time to cover everything today, but if you're interested, please feel free to reach out and ask any questions or book a short intro call. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Galina. And we are ready for question and feedback from our investors panel. Dan, you are next.
If I may, Galina, how do you see this solution within the wider roadmap of automating the picking solutions within the stores?
It's a great question. That's exactly how we think about it. So at the moment, when retailers are thinking about delivery, they do that either from their stores or their dedicated picking areas that they have inside their warehouses or their fulfillment centers. And that's exactly the place where they need to have solutions such as ours. So to do that in the nearest couple of years. So as we are kind of growing, we are thinking about we're going to do R&D and grow to more automated stuff such as robots and everything else. But we're growing with our customers at the moment.
I'm asking because there's a lot of players right now, from Ocado in UK to Tencent in China, that are approaching this using fully automated warehouse management solutions. So this seems to be less than what the market is headed to right now.
But the thing is, exactly with Ocado, for example, what they're doing is they're building big fulfillment centers, which require capex and time. Not all retailers have capacity and actually the need to do that. So what we're servicing to employees, to retailers who are actually starting doing that from dedicated picking areas. And they're actually, at the moment, for example, as I'm talking to retailers in the US, there's a need for all kinds of solutions, exactly for Ocado when they're building and for automation of everything. And also for retailers to be able to do that from dedicated areas or do it inside their stores. Something like Instacart, which is popular in the US, but actually automating it.
I think I would recommend you to have a more holistic view about the solution space, because now I think the state of the art is companies offering fully integrated solutions, including both hardware, software, and offering them in a robot as a service model. And I'm saying this because one of my portfolio companies is doing exactly that.
That's great. That's okay. Thank you.
So no capex, just show up and install the systems, and then you have the automated warehouse management.
So they don't charge for capex. So they just
it's a charge per pick.
Charge per pick. Okay, very interesting model. Thank you so much.
No humans.
Thank you, Mario.
Can I have a question? Hi, this is Mario. May I please ask, is there a scale for weighing the goods included in the pilot which you are doing? And how do you have the patenting solved in your case?
What do you mean? Sorry, the first part of the question, the scale?
If you have the scale, something for weighing the goods, let's say foods and stuff like that.
Yes, we do have a product of scale, and so it's a smart scale that we already built and piloting. At the moment, how it happens is they wait somewhere else, and then the scanner just reads that information. So when you put in the weight, it automatically calculates the cost of it.
Okay.
And with the patent at the moment, no, we have not, but we'll deal with that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. More question or feedback?
I got a question. How much does it cost for you to onboard one particular retail store or the chain retail chain stores?
It's actually.
So what are the acquisition costs if you provide a service for free and then you're paid per transaction or something?
So at the moment we integrate automatically. So we just go into their databases. So it's basically just the time of our software developers. Everything is done through automation and through their servers. If you mean of onboarding clients, the cost in our fees, like what it costs for us.
Well, that's the technical onboarding, right? Like integrating into point of sale systems and this kind of stuff, but rather like even a sales cycle.
Yeah.
So how long it takes to get one particular customer, and how much does it cost?
So with sales process, it's like with all B2B sales, it's a process, and it takes about when there is an urge. For example, with some clients in Russia, we've seen we're actually coming with incoming. We're dealing with incoming issues, inquiries, about 3 to 6 months. Since either they have the urge or not. Some of them we've had for a year, is with all B2B sales, so it takes some time for us. So what we've done is we started building our pipeline, for example, in the US already around 3 months ago, and we're more in the conversation about the cost of peak time and everything at the moment.
What I would suggest is you to go through integrators and point of sale system providers, because that's their market, it's their customers, and this is kind of an add-on for their services, and share the revenue share with them, because they got an established distribution network, all the sales in place, and this is just kind of additional IT gadget in the retail, right? And okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Galina. We wish you good luck, and it is time for us to move forward to the next startup. And I am happy to invite to the stage Wantent, AI-based reaction recognition platform, which sounds very intrigued. So, guys, you are up next. Please welcome.
Hello, my name is Alexey Shaldenko. I am CEO and co-founder of startup Wantent, and we help video content producers and distributors to determine their target audience reactions. It's not a secret that video on demand market is booming, and in 3 years, average consumer will have 5 subscriptions. So OTT platforms, TV channels, and video production companies face such difficulties as a lack of tools to estimate the quality of the content, limited ways to understand real viewers' reactions, high customer acquisition costs, and high churn rate due to low engagement level. So for this, we track audience reactions and emotional states. We estimate the attitude and level of engagement and provide recommendations to improve it. The research process is quite simple. Video is uploaded on our platform. Viewers watch it with camera turned on in natural conditions. In turn, our system using AI models analyze facial expression, body and pose position, and eye focusing. As a result, we provide our clients with automated report with more than 25 parameters that allow them to make right decision either to invest or improve their content. Content protection is our reputation, so we use next generation technologies and best Hollywood practices. And unlike our competitors we use AI models for deeper analysis of audience reactions. For this, we plan to reach 20 emotions for emotional recognition. We track emotional states and detect four types of attention. For this, we do our own research in AI and cognitive psychology. Our specialists work in such topics as escapism, empathy, and binge watching. And for clients, we provide subscription and project-based model with cases like pilot testing, TV show, feature film, and special request. We have conducted pilots with our target clients, such as OTT platforms, production companies, and TV channels, and now we signed 8 agreements. For a wider perspective, we now we work with media entertainment field, but we see great potential wrapping our technology in products for education and healthcare. And all this happens thanks to a fantastic team who has experience in content production, software development, market research, and cognitive psychology. Also, we have a great advisory board, especially with Rick Rasmussen, professor of Berkeley, and other professionals from corporate innovation, software architecture, and business development. For next round, we are planning to raise $1.5 million for launching SaaS, entering Europe and US market, and sign top OTT provider. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's start with our questions from panel of investors. Halil, you?
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, so basically, okay, let me try to rephrase the question. So, looking from your business model, you're getting paid by content creators, right? They have access to your platform, and then they can assess reactions based on the content by people having their cameras on, correct?
Yes, right.
Have you thought about maybe integrating a way that allows them to incentivize, like through like they can pay these users to have their cameras on? Because like I can imagine you can say you're GDPR compliant, but I think we've seen in the world today people are quite reluctant, right, to have their face recorded by any third party or whatever. So is that something you've looked at?
So we have partners they provide us with audience, and this audience is paid for participation in our research. Also, we have integrated these panels for by link. They can this participant can open the link and just participate there in the research, and after that they paid. So both ways.
So it's a curated audience, after all.
And we are not controller, we are processor of the personal data, so it's okay.
Got it.
We have GDPR CPA compliant. It was very important because we work with sensitive data of biometrics, and also we have work with pre-release content. So from both sides, it's very important to like protect the data.
Okay, you heard?
Alexei, nice to meet you. Thank you for the presentation. Could you tell us a little bit more about the kind of the target segments for this solution? Because I can see this being very appealing to long form video production, such as whatever kind of standard TV content, or particularly more to some of the shorter things like ads, commercials, etc., where you're really far more commercially focused on audience reception, rather than in the longer format.
Yeah, we can provide our service for advertising agency who produce short content, but we see great potential in long duration content because, for example, OTT market is booming now. The production of TV shows, it's quite long, but they, for example, working with 12 episodes, if these episodes are not very with good quality, for example, viewers just leave the process of watching, and after that they will never come back. So basically, it's very important to engage during the whole season or whole episode, and it's the production cost it's quite high, and acquisition of the viewers is quite high. That's why it's very important to be sure that content works and business goals are into acquisition, engagement, and retention. That's why we are now it's harder to work with this field, but the check and price of the success is higher.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Daniel.
I got a question. You're right that the whole movie industry or the media sector is not digitalized that much. We've been looking at the market potentials, and there are companies who do like basic analytics, how many shows has been played on Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever. And even these data for them are gold. So what I would suggest you to do to get to the particular, production houses and stuff, to go through these particular data analytics platforms who do aggregations on a basic level. Because what you just showed, regardless, people are kind of used to be watched or not. It's a little bit like a few years ahead for them to digest. And it would be perfect add-on for these basic analytic tools they don't really have at all. So that would be my suggestion for the distribution channel. Because if you're a first-time mover, you would have to educate them a lot, and you spend a lot of money for the sales and marketing efforts.
It's a challenge for us. Yeah.
Thank you. And maybe Ajay, maybe you'd like to add as a suggestion or feedback from your side for guys on their next steps.
Yeah, I think this market is definitely a challenging one. We've invested in a company that is trying to deep mine, people's social media sentiment and intent by extracting that information off of posts they may have made on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or other social media channels. I would suggest, perhaps thinking about alternative market opportunities, like empowering research and insights teams by deep mining existing video content and information that people have made freely available about the brands that they love and or hate. Since you have the ability to do kind of all of the video analysis of expressions, perhaps focusing on the existing treasure trove of video data and sentiment data that's already uploaded to YouTube or other other platforms might give you a larger data set and a more meaningful product than to offer brands and advertisers.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you very much, Wantent. And we have to move on as time flies so fast. I'm happy to invite to the stage ForgeFiction. It's fantasy. Sci-fi fans want to be immersed in those stories. And I think you can do a little bit of introduction by yourself. So please be next on the stage.
Hello, everyone. I am Haraj, co-founder of ForgeFiction, a platform that changes the storytelling. Many of you might have noticed how in recent years, TV series are gaining more and more popularity compared to movies. The main reason for this is the immersion that they provide to the viewers, allowing them to connect with the characters and the world of the story for many years. A similar shift has to happen with the written format of storytelling. On the other hand, there is an ongoing war between streaming services like Netflix, Disney Plus, and others, forcing them to look for new online sources of content. ForgeFiction is bringing a new way of content creation and consumption focused on fantasy and sci-fi mostly. We are bringing the concept of storytelling closer to the TV series format with bite-sized content for easier consumption, completed with visuals and characters and everything that relates to the world of the story. And we are merging these two sides of the storytelling together, bringing a great immersive experience to the readers of fantasy and sci-fi. The content creation on the platform is happening in a collaboration between a main writer who is in charge of the story and a world-building community that helps them in creating characters, world elements, and brainstorming ideas for the plot. We are already home for 1,500 weekly active creators who are the core of our world-building community. The content, the chapters of the stories are released on the platform periodically, a few times per week, and the readers can advance through the story by unlocking those chapters. They're getting some free initial chapters to get to know the story, after which they can unlock each next chapter by viewing an ad or doing an in-app purchase. It's not a surprise that the global storytelling market is huge. The genres that we target alone in English language are amounting to more than $28 billion annually, but the specific type of sales of the content, serialized approach to the storytelling is also booming right now, growing 25% per year, reaching more than $500 million annually. So this is not a surprise that there are other platforms who operate in a similar way. The hot ones right now are Radish and Inkit, with Radish, for example, closing $60+ million round A. I don't know the valuation though, just half a year ago. But the one thing that differentiates us from all of these platforms is that they are focused on more like romances and love stories, which is serving a completely different type of reader base. And we are more focused on fantasy, sci-fi, and this is a completely different type of people. And we are adding functionality that helps in improving the immersion for this type of content. As I mentioned, we started with bringing together the world-building community first. We launched the web platform around a year ago, a bit more, and we reached 1,500 weekly active creators. Those are people who actually create worlds on the platform. We test-published 3 novels written by them, which sold in a total for 800 copies. And the feedback from this was that world building is done great. So now we are adding the writer side and moving to the serialized approach for storytelling. Our co-founding team are 4 close friends with backgrounds spanning from science to software engineering and marketing. But the one thing that always united our friendship was the passion for sci-fi, fantasy worlds and stories. And this is why we started ForgeFiction. We recently just a month ago, closed our pre-seed round. In total, we raised, during these couple of years, we raised a bit more than $500,000. Our current goal for the pre-seed round is to launch it's a mobile app, to launch the app for serialized storytelling and to tune the reader and writer acquisition channels. We are planning to do a larger seed round in 2022 with the goal of scaling this on. So this was ForgeFiction. Thank you for your attention. I will be happy to answer to your questions.
Thank you. And we're ready for feedback from our investors. Then, would you like to start with your feedback or suggestion or questions? Oh, Genta, go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you for the pitch. I have a question regarding the rights of the stories. So let's say the author that posts the stories, are they the one that own the rights, and then can they just spin off and move to another platform, or is it ForgeFiction that owns all the rights?
Yep. Great question. Actually, it depends on the type of story. If it is just an author who wants to put its content on ForgeFiction, they of course hold their copyrights. If it is more like, because there are different ways that we are creating content. If it is a world set in ForgeFiction by the community and an author is brought to write story inside this, they still hold like rights to get monetization, parts of monetization, but the characters and the world that is created by the community isn't belonging to them. So it depends on how exactly the story is created, and it is case by case.
Thank you. Igor?
Hey, Harsh, nice to meet you. And I would think that the mechanics of progression through the story are quite important, right, in terms of how you monetize it. Because if you really have to pay per chapter, I can see that being quite a very very commercial experience. Whether maybe perhaps a kind of a all you can eat prepaid bundle would be better. How are your thoughts on making that user interface? Because I get that being a very key part of the overall experience.
Yeah, so it's firstly, some part of it is free. So the start of the story is free, and readers are getting some small amount of free chapters as well. Second, they can watch ads as an alternative for payment, and the payment itself isn't like done for each chapter individually. So they are purchasing sort of an in-app currency with which they later pay for the chapters. And of course, there are bundles to unlock, like sort of similar to binge watching, binge read the story with discounts and stuff like this. This business model is actually implemented by the alternative platforms that I mentioned, and the business model itself is doing great, so we can learn a lot from it. So this is typically how they do. So you basically can unlock each chapter individually, but you can also pay sort of with a discounted price to unlock the next season or something like this.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe Mario, would you like to share your feedback or suggestions for ForgeFiction as the next step? Please put yourself from mute.
Yeah, in general, I kind of like it. I was actually having the same question as the autorships as the other colleagues are asking, but in general, fine.
Okay, Halil?
Yeah, maybe just a question from my end. I think like one of the main ways you can attract people is like through high quality stories, right? Are you thinking of taking some sort of editor role moving forward, like some sort of editor, just to kind of do a sanity check on the quality of what's being produced?
Yeah, absolutely. So firstly, it's not like it's not open for authors to just put anything they want. So we are doing sort of a partnership with authors, and the content is monitored by us. That's first. And second, we will have several layers of ensuring the quality. First is the community that I mentioned. We are using the community in different ways. First is the world building, but second is sort of an alpha readers to make sure that the writing quality is checked. And also we will also have in-house editors. But one thing that I would actually like to mention is that from the experience of sort of checking out on the alternative platforms that are more in the love story category. One thing that is interesting is that for readers with this type, when you're just getting a chapter per day or chapter per week or whatever, not buying a full book, they're much more forgiving for writing quality. So this is an interesting thing. So of course we are not putting low quality things, but you don't need to waste like months on editing if you're going with this type.
Thank you. And I think it's time for us to move on. So ForgeFiction, thanks a lot for your presentation. And I'm happy to invite NewGen Vending, a startup from Latvia to be up on our stage next. So please welcome NewGen Vending.
Hello, everyone. Can I start? My name is Nick, and I'm co-founder at NewGen Vending. It's grab-and-go vending that controls the shelf life of goods in real time. And during this presentation, I will be answering the question how to deliver ready-to-eat meals to corporate customers. There's several options: vending, grab-and-go micro markets, and corporate services. Everybody knows what classic vending is. It's just vending machine with the snacks and beverages inside, with a really long-term expiration dates, because classic vending doesn't control the shelf life of goods and doesn't have needed equipment for fresh food. Micro market, from the other side, don't overcome this shelf life problem as well. Micro markets and grab-and-go fridges do the same thing, and it causes the food industries 25 to 30% average losses of goods in grab-and-go, with also expensive last miles for deliveries. And food industries working in the corporate niche don't service companies with less than 300 employees inside, because it's not profitable. And here's when NewGen Vending solution comes into play. We develop a technology that uses commercial glass door vending fridges for ready-to-eat fresh meals. It reduces losses by 2 times, up to 15%, and allows food industries to reach companies with less than 300 employees. We also reduce the cost of product disposal services by this way. With NewGen Vending, you know how much goods the food factory must produce. All deliveries are scheduled, and expiration dates of foods and beverages are under control. Plus, we provide you with detailed user behavior analytics and finance analytics. To make our hardware part clearer, we don't develop like new vending machine. We just develop a kit that can be installed in commercial glass door fridges, so particular anyone. After a brief customization, it gathers all information about the goods inside the fridge and transfer it to our software part of solution, which doing good for all the business processes and automates planning and etc. etc. Our target customers are food industries that provide quality food service to enterprises, also its vending operators, and food tech companies. We know industry with the help of our co-founders, so it's 3 of us. Kirill Sizimov has more than 7 years experience in food tech and vending technologies. He worked with a big Russian delivery tech company like Wolt and Bolt in EU, and built operations for our pilots in Moscow from zero. Ivan Gurkin has a bachelor's degree in computer science with a system engineer specialization and more than 7 years worked as a hardware developer, so it's know it from inside. And I have 6 years experience as a project lead and different software solution for enterprises. And also I'm working 3 years like a project lead for software development in food tech solution. Our business model is 5% commission on each transaction and $50 per one fridge, like a fee for using our technology. If we take a look at the market, it's 7.2 billion yearly vending total revenue, with more than 4 million vending machine field base. If we take at least 5% of this market, we will get approximately 10 million MMR monthly. We reached product market fit during our pilot in Moscow. We established to launch 150 food points, so it's like fridges, and reach the losses by 17% at market, but we could do better. We could do 15 if there will be more food points. So finance, our growth before pandemic was exponential from $23,000 in June 2019 to $450,000 at December 2019. Sorry, we secured our technology with patents in the Russian Federation, and we have holders of intellectual property of 4 patents in the United States of America. We are now at the stage of finalizing MVP, so everything is worked and ready for commercial use. And we want to, our top goal is to find a solid partner, which we can pilot this decision with this solution in Europe and show traction in EU. So it helps us to prepare for fundraising, and we're gonna do the fundraising this winter, I guess. So this is all for me. Thank you very much for attention.
Thank you. And it's time for our question and feedback. Gaetan, go ahead. You unmute. Please unmute yourself.
Hi. Thank you, Nikita, very much for the presentation. Could you briefly try to explain to me how does the process work from when you put the kit into the vending machine to actually getting the data of all the food that is inside? And what happens if some of the food is going to expire? So how does the restocking work?
Yeah, we have a lot of like bumpy things during our pilot. This is really good question. So if make it shortly, so there are special marks on a food which to be placed on a food factory. It's easy. You just use a typical scanner. We also provide you with this stuff. After you scan the product, it appears in our system. And then when you reach, when you deliver it to the vending machine with our courier app, we have courier app and app application for customers. You just get things inside, and that's all. Our system see it. So about the kit, it's antennas and some part of hardware, accumulators, VPN solutions, also to secure connections. If something goes wrong, for example, expiration dates is close, we have a system automatically on loyalty system and sell it for like 50% discount. Yeah, this is the first decision. The second decision, if, for example, nobody buy it, yeah, we just have the scheduled courier there to take this out of the fridge. Yeah. But everything we do, it's automatically by our system. Yeah, so you don't need to use human resources for that. What is crucial for grab-and-go micro markets nowadays.
Thank you. And Dan?
I noticed that the financial information was for 2019.
That's correct.
I assume that this is because of the COVID situation. How do you see COVID and work from home changes affect your total available market?
Won't hide information. Of course, yeah, the effect was really big. Yeah, this is true. And that's why we have a different way of developing this kind of solution. For example, for multifamily building, we have a lot of CASDEF in United States of America, and they have a lot of staff and vending machines in the multifamily buildings. When you just come after work at evening, for example, yeah, and you have fresh meal, just like in your home, it's very useful. This is the one point of decision. And the second one, we are targeted mostly with the big food industries we can pilot with, yeah, which target is corporate clients. And industries, factories won't close anyway. We know that. And we want to help provide them with fresh meals day by day. So I think that even if we take a look on a situation where nobody works at co-works and offices and everybody works at home, anyway, we have factories, and this is corporate clients. And also we have multi-buildings and the buildings where people can just take, for example, food in home. Also, I was talk really brief about the last mile cost for deliveries. After communication with Wolt and with Yandex service in Russia, we know that they spend like 2 hours per day awaiting couriers for clients to just like go down the stairs and take the products, and it's really pain for them. So if they can just leave the food in the fridge, even a hot fridge also, near the house, and just go away, they will economy 2 hours of time per day, and they can deliver more, they can assume more deliveries in per day, and this
Yeah.
as well.
Then you'd like to add something? I
hope I answered.
As a separate question, how do you ensure the installation and the warranty, the servicing of the kits?
We are partnership with Frigoglass. It's they are from Kola, and they are really big in making commercial glass door fridges in Europe. Also, they have several industries and a lot of services. We just have all the technical documents for them, and we already did it before in Russia. So you just can buy the fridge from them with already set up our kit inside. Something like this, and we are just like testing with them before selling.
What's their market share? What's their market share?
It's just not. We didn't get any kind of revenue sharing with them.
No, their market share. How much do they account from the total market for glass door fridges?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess today I cannot share the information with you because it's just I have to check it.
The subsequent question was, how do you address the rest of the market?
Yeah, we have also several companies in the United States which we are just like have a conversation with, no agreement, won't be lying, but it's not a secret that Frigoglass working only for Europe, and for US we have to build another partnership because shipping from EU to US it's kind of expensive.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and we have to move on. And next, NewGen Vending, thank you very much for your presentation. And we are switching to our next startup, Wizart, AR visualizer for DIY online retailers to increase sales and give end users a unique customer experience. A company from Belarus. And you're up on the stage, guys. Please welcome.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to introduce you Project Wizart. We have created a computer vision-based solution that allows you to see the future when redecorating your house, quite literally. We address the issue of millions of people who are planning renovation and choosing finishing materials for that. They are roaming around DIY stores for hours and leave without making a purchase just because they can't imagine how these materials will look like on their walls and floors. Wizart gives customers a possibility to instantly see how their home will look like in future with new wallpaper, paint, and flooring. You can just make a shot with your mobile phone and immediately see the result in photorealistic quality, keeping the perspective, shadows, scales, and so on. So the users are making the choice easier and are more confident and satisfied of it, and then making less returns. You can see a screen video of how our product works. So, all right, yeah. Then we see clearly a significant addressable market looking for our solution, over 1 billion addressable market just for visualizer software. Today, we provide our customers, finishing materials retailers and manufacturers with a product visualization tool integratable into their web catalogs and charge them a monthly subscription fee. We have launched our product live 1 year ago. Since then, we have nearly 40 business customers worldwide, recurrent revenue, which is growing constantly every month, and very promising unit economic metrics. Now we are focusing on improving our unit economics and scaling up our sales. This is done by entering other materials market, improving installation and onboarding process, and other clear means detailed in our action plan. The project is 2 years old. One we have spent for market research and technology development, the second for entering the market and finding product market fit. Last year, we have shown factor 3 annual revenue growth, and we are going to repeat it again in 2021 just by enhancing our current processes. End of this year, we are going to start entering another market related to DIY retail. Our goal actually is broader than just delivering visualizer tool. We are gonna build an industry standard for DIY market, including retailers, manufacturers, and suppliers. Our next step is entering the construction market, which is way bigger than retail and which clearly requires added value created by Wizart. Next year, we plan to continuously acquire SMB segment, start entering enterprise segment and different kinds of players on it to become a B2B2C transactional platform. Wizart actually has a unique deep tech product, very complicated to reproduce, potentially patentable, and creates a value by assembling market information from different kinds of players. Our computer vision technology is not just a combination of third-party tools, but starts from our own data set and very specific state-of-the-art neural networks, which potentially are applicable for many other purposes. The team behind Wizart includes yours truly, myself, a serial entrepreneur with 16 years of being CEO and founder of IT companies, strong CTO, outstanding chief of sales, and talented performing product manager. To meet our growth projections, we need to secure nearly $1 million in next 2 months. We are already in discussion with VCs and have some commits, so we invite you to follow our leads around. Wizart is incorporated in Delaware, has 30 employees in development center in Belarus, properly secured intellectual property rights, and is completely ready for investment. I thank you all for your attention and look forward to hearing your questions and comments.
Vasily, thank you. And
here we go.
Yeah, Ajay, maybe you'd like to start question and feedback from the panel?
Sure. So does your computer vision capability enable you to handle any kind of room environment in a consumer's home? And that's the first question. Yeah.
Yeah, most of. Yeah, so we are constantly improving, analyzing the data coming into our system, and we tend to cover 95% of interiors. Yeah, there are some cases we do not proceed properly, but 95% of them, yes, we do. For example, if you have a very complicated interior with a lot of columns, with mansards and so on, so it may work not so smooth. But when you have a more or less typical interior, then it works very smooth. You can check it yourself. We have a public demo at our website. Yeah, you can check it at your home or your office. Yeah, it works very good. Yeah.
Great. I also wanted to know what's the onboarding time for a retailer to upload their product catalog, all of their, paint colors or wallpaper colors, floor colors, etc. That process sounds like it might be quite difficult, given the fact that they may not have access to all of the high resolution photography and images required for kind of the work that you're doing.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, so we go a little bit another way. We are making partnerships with product manufacturers, and we get the digital data directly from them and provide them directly to the retailers. That's a big added value. So the retailers, when they want to use Wizart to visualize, they just connect their product pages with the product articles from the manufacturer's catalog. Yeah, so this way we shorten this, issue. Actually, we have the partnerships with nearly 70 most popular wallpaper brands, yeah, and we increasing it constantly. So we are making like a network effect there. So then more manufacturers we have in our catalog, then it's better for our retailers, more added value they get. So they have the possibility to upload the product data on their own, but most of cases they use the data directly from the manufacturers.
Great, thank you.
I got a question. Is there a way for this particular tool to be embedded on any e-commerce site actually, who sells any kind of patterns, design, or whatever else? So if you embed it within the marketplace of the Shopify, so anyone who sells particular designs can have this as an add-on for their users. Is there?
Yes.
Do you guys do it?
Yeah, so we have a plugin for any kind of websites, and we have plugins for specific platforms, for Shopify, for Magento, for WordPress-based websites, and so on. So we try to shorten the installation procedure for our customers. But in general, you can embed it into any website, and we also provide the API, so you can use it at the low level. You can embed it into your app, for example. Yeah, it's more complicated, but it's possible. Yeah, so our basic product is you should use it as simple as possible. Yeah, when you have the Shopify site, you just pick up the Shopify plugin and embed it into your website.
Thank you. Any more question or feedback? Igor, maybe you'd like to suggest something for Wizart from your point of view?
Sorry, is it me?
Yeah. Yep.
Just probably the question is, in terms of competitive landscape, who are your close competitors? What does that look like in terms of companies with similar capabilities?
Okay, so when analyzing the competitive landscape, we thought of competitors in a very broad way. We thought, okay, our competitors are any kind of software solutions which help to visualize the products in the interior. Yeah, and there we see basically two kinds of solutions on different polars. Yeah, so one of them is based on 3D modeling. Yeah, so that to see the wallpaper on your floor, you should create the 3D model of your interior this or that way. Yeah, and on another side, there are solutions which rely on computer vision. Yeah, so that you should not build this 3D model. You can just make a shot and see the result. Yeah, and there today we have exactly one competitor. We know them. This is company located in Canada, and we go in competition with them nose by nose. Yeah, so we do it some things in very similar way. We have found very similar technical solutions, I believe, as soon as we see, yeah, and we watch at each other and we make some intelligence to each other regularly. So to cut a long story short, we have exactly one competitor which is very similar to us.
And what is the name?
They produce. It's a company called Leap Tools. It's in Canada. I will not name their product. I will not advertise my competitors. But if you like a deeper discussion, of course, I will provide you with our detailed investigation about them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Vasily, thank you very much for a great presentation. We wish you good luck. And we're ready to move on. And Overgear, the company that helps gamers worldwide achieve their goals, learn and improve the gaming experience in popular online titles. please welcome to be up on the stage next.
Hi, my name is Tony. I'm the CEO of Overgear. Overgear helps gamers all over the world achieve their gaming goals, learn, and have the best possible experience in online games. Over the past decade, playing games has become an important part of the lifestyle for more than 2 billion people. But in our modern world with busy jobs, families, and fast-paced lives, it's difficult to dedicate dozens of hours of playtime just to find the right teammates, grind through hours of tedious content, and overcome various difficulties, all to finally enjoy the game. That's where Overgear comes to the rescue to guide our customers through the challenges in their favorite online titles. On our platform, we connect our customers with professional players. They learn from the best, play with better teammates, have incredible experiences, and explore content they found difficult to access before. We guarantee that the customers will always get what they pay for, and the professional players are paid only after we have full confidence and proof that their services were provided in full. We have an automated player-to-player deal system, which ensures that orders are completed without any human interaction from our team. This allows us to grow rapidly while keeping our headcount at a minimum. And our honest review system with genuine user feedback ensures that the customers make the right choice when they pick a professional player. Now, speaking of numbers, last quarter, our average monthly revenue exceeded $1.5 million. Our total gross revenue has exceeded $17 million. Over the past 3 years, over 130,000 gamers have signed up on the platform. And I'm really proud of our team. We're a company of over 60 dedicated gamers who always wanted to link their careers with their passion for gaming. So here's our graph. Here's our all-time quarterly revenue graph. In 2019, we partnered up with one of the largest investment funds in Eastern Europe. And since that time, we've increased our revenue tenfold. This year, in January, we set an ambitious goal to increase our gross revenue fivefold over the next 2 years. And this graph shows that we're moving toward that goal at a notably fast pace. Also, I would like to share with you this slide of the geographic distribution of revenue. The primary language of the platform is English, and thanks to this, we have customers all over the world. The US and EU have been our main focus for the past 3 years, and yet there are still many promising markets that we're eager to explore. So we plan to raise $6 million this round. We will spend the additional funds to reinforce our dev team and speed up the development of the next version of the platform. This new version will use 3 years of our experience in product data. It will automate common use flows, minimize costs for scaling, and dramatically improve user experience. We will also dedicate a decent portion of our funds to test and enter new markets through tailoring the platform to local audiences, including translation and localization of the UI, and providing customer care for most popular globally spoken languages. We will also expand our team globally and seek to attract top talent dreaming of a career in the gaming industry. We will launch our Teammate Finder service. This is a dedicated application that will work in synergy with the platform. We will use the funds here to cover the expenses to develop and launch the service in the US and EU markets. And we will invest into automation and professional tools that will boost the performance of our marketing and customer care, sales, and support teams. Well, thank you for your attention. I'm ready to answer the questions.
Thank you. Yeah, Dan.
Are you integrating with any game, or do you need a special access to the game design itself through a deal with the publisher or the developer?
No, we don't require any integrations. The way this works is our customer gets an invitation to, let's say, a messenger or a voice communication application of their choice. For example, let's say they use Discord. So they're invited into a group in Discord, and the professional player joins the group, and they communicate to reach their goals.
Okay, and how many professional players did you sign up so far?
We have over 2,000 professional players with us right now.
And how many titles do you cover?
Our primary titles, I'd say 5, but our total number is 8.
8. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what's your take rate?
Come again?
What's your take rate? How much do you charge?
Oh, it really depends on the service, but the average order value is $80.
$80.
Yeah.
And how much of the $80 do you take?
It really depends on the type of service, but our commission ranges from 15% to 50% for the VIP services.
Okay, thank you. Interesting.
Thank you. Igor?
Hey, Tony, it's a really super interesting market and model. Can I just understand a little bit about the actual kind of customer proposition? So in case of loot trading, are you just kind of switching items between players, or is it more about coaching and kind of improvement of your gameplay through kind of a consultation, like a team sports kind of experience?
Yes, so we're not specifically trading the items. We make sure that the customer has the experience and the knowledge to pass certain challenges in the game. So there's no loot trading. The customer gets the items themselves.
Okay, but that's done with the help of the pro gamer that assists you.
That is correct.
Okay, got it. And how do you think about your expansion to other titles? I think you have some really big ones like COD and World of WoW. What's your kind of pipeline for new things to add?
We're really careful about adding new games because we believe that, and actually the data and the research shows that in order to launch a new game properly, there is a huge process of preparing the content, of finding the players, onboarding the players, to coaching the players to actually provide the services properly. So we plan to add about 5 games in the next year, but those will be we will dedicate a lot of time to prepare for those.
Yeah, got it. And sorry, I found my last one. I remember Corsair was looking to offer some sort of a coaching software type capability. Are there any other competitors that you have that do very similar things?
Yes, definitely. There are services that provide, for example, there are marketplaces for gaming services where you can buy these services as well. There are companies, small companies that run this their business pretty much manually. Like you just have the managers in no automation, very little automation or no automation at all. And there are also different projects that try to solve the same problem by introducing a software that automatically gives you hints inside the game, walks you through the challenges and all that. But I think this is a really perspective, a really good market with a huge perspective, and the growth rate of the market is really astonishing. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tony, where are you based?
Oh, sorry.
Our team is in Moscow, the development team, and we also have an office in Cyprus.
Okay, thank you. Daniel?
I have a question. Being a programmer doesn't really mean that you are a good teacher or a mentor for the other players to join. So if I understand it right, as a kind of an educational platform, a mentoring platform for the beginners, is it how high is the retention rate, or how often the usual player actually comes back to the game and play with the pro? Is it like once, twice, 3 times? How often they are using the service? And I could guess like the interest would be, I mean, the cost of the acquisition for the pro gamers. What is their intention? They're paid out of the costs, or how does that work?
I think that was about 3 questions in one. Okay, try to answer all of them. So speaking of the retention rates, our research shows that we have still 3% of the users who came to the platform in January of 2018, so 3 years ago. And what we see over time is not only that the number is growing, but we have those 3% over time of dedicated and loyal customers permanently. So we see gamers come back over and over and over. We see gamers willing to test different games, and we see gamers not only buying these services to learn something, but have a great company while learning something in the game, because that's actually one of the ideas of the teammate finding service. That's the problem we're trying to solve here, because many people don't know, or it is difficult or nearly impossible with the tools provided by the developer to find your teammates in the game, the teammates you're comfortable to play with. So now that was a really good question about whether it means that if you are a professional player, does it really mean that you are a good teacher? And that's most certainly not true. And that's a part of the hard work we have to do before launching a new game, is to make sure that we're onboarded the right players, the players who really know how to teach, who have the methodology, who have good communication skills. That's important. And what we see often is customers often choose players that are fun to play with, fun to talk to, and not necessarily the ones who teach the best. So yeah, it's the added experience for them.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your answers. Thanks for a great presentation. And at this stage, I would like to thank for all startups who were today on the stage, showing their bright ideas and getting feedback from our great investors panel. Just to wrap up our session, it is one question for investors. What would you suggest, or what recommendation would you give for all startups we have today, or maybe for a particular startup, just in a couple of phrases, just like quick round table to smoothly wrap up our today's session. So Ajay, maybe I'll start with you, if you don't mind. Just a couple of words for our startups to wrap up the session.
Sure. Well, I really appreciated everyone's pitch and getting to learn about each of your startups. I know how challenging and difficult that can be, especially over a Zoom, as opposed to being in front of the panel and in front of a crowd. So truly appreciate all of that. I guess the one piece of general feedback that I'd provide to all of the founders today is to be really, I think all of you can tighten up a big part of your pitch by answering the question why. Why did you create the startup? Why are you the right team to execute on the startup? Why are you passionate about the startup? Oftentimes, an investor responds to a founder a lot better if it's very clear and understandable as to why that founder is building this business. Why are they the right person to do it? What's ultimately motivating them? So I think answering that question of why can be very helpful.
Thank you. Igor, maybe you
sure.
can be next.
No, I want to thank everyone for participating. I'm originally from Minsk, Belarus. This is my first conference that I've attended out east. And it's just incredible to see how much the ecosystem has grown. And it's great to see startups from Belarus, from Latvia, from Georgia, and from CIS. And this is the kind of level of development that would have been completely unexpected 10 years ago. So just well done, everyone.
Thank you. Dan?
Yeah, thanks to the organizers for putting together the list of companies and curating the diverse profile of the startups presenting today. I'm happy to see people from different regions, and I'm happy to see how the quality of the startups is progressing year after year.
Thank you. Halil?
Sure, yeah, I'd just like to say thanks as well to everyone for presenting. I usually spend a lot of my time on fintech, so it's nice to get a lot of exposure to some very different business models for a change. Maybe just to echo Ajay a little bit, I think 5 minutes is not a lot of time to get into a lot of details, right? And I think a lot of the startups did a pretty good job of explaining like the context for why they were creating the products they're creating. At the end of the day, I think like if you have limited time, like the things you always need to focus on, it's market size and all that, but at the end of the day, it's also what's the issue? How are you solving for it? How do you monetize on that? I think maybe some of the startups could stand to focus a bit more on that monetization potential, and just explaining like, look, this is how we're making money now. This is how we think we're going to make money in the future. And then that last point that Ajay said was crucial, right? Like you have all of that, then why are you guys the team to actually act upon it? So I think it doesn't matter in the end if you have only 4 or 5 minutes. If you address those points, you can make a pretty compelling case.
Thank you. And Daniel?
Again, I think you guys at Merch are doing a significant, footprints on a global startup scene. And I've seen many interesting stories coming out of I call it between Russia and Germany region. And the thing I'm personally focusing on with the founders when I'm doing a lot of mentoring and advisory is that just be in sync with all the members in your team, including investors. What are their expectations? Not everything is about money and valuations. It's about partnerships. It's about the expectations for the exits. So just make sure that in each particular step of the funding, you are aligned with all the people you are taking on board. And don't be afraid to actually ask them before you signing up any term sheets, because then again, down the road, this may bring significant, issues and kind of who's responsible for what situations. And we see it in many portfolios companies, like how this particular I didn't know what to expect from you has ended up in a bad situation. So it would be good to be open from the beginning, ask investors what they can bring on board and what is their story with your particular technology or startup. It's very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, our dear investors. It was a great panel. Can I ask you for hang on for just a couple of minutes after the session for a quick catch up with us. And for everybody else, let's call it a wrap. Thank you very much. It was a venture launch, and we're happy to see you again next time. Thank you, and bye-bye.